Hi everyone, Dave here, and welcome back to AFSCME Dave Explains. It's been a while since my last update, so I hope you're as excited as I am about this new video. I want to take a few minutes today to tackle the biggest question the negotiation team gets. What actually goes on in contract negotiations? When the doors close, it can feel like a secret society with its own complex language. But the truth is, it's a strategic process. It's a game of leverage, math, and psychology. And if you don't know the rules, you lose. That's why I want you to hear this clearly. Don't stress about it, because your bargaining team knows the rules. So today I'm going to break down 3 specific strategies that successful unions use to win. Strategies that we are using every single time we sit down with the city. 1. The psychology of anchoring. First, we must understand the cognitive bias known as anchoring. This is basic negotiation psychology. In any negotiation, the first figure introduced dictates the trajectory of the entire conversation. It establishes a psychological baseline. When we present an initial wage proposal that management labels as ambitious, we aren't being naive. We are deliberately setting the field of play. Think about selling something on Facebook Marketplace. If you want to sell your old lawnmower for $100, you don't list it for $100. You list it at $150. Why? Because you know the buyer is going to try to talk you down. If we anchor low to appear reasonable, we have effectively negotiated against ourselves before the other side has even spoken.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Our goal is simple. Make management explain why they're backing away from our standard, rather than forcing ourselves to justify why we deserve more than their scarcity model allows. 2. Preserving leverage. Second is leverage preservation, also known as bargaining as a whole. Throughout this bargaining process, you will see us sign tentative agreements, or TAs, on individual articles. It is critical to understand the strategic definition of that word tentative. It does not mean done, it means conditional. Management often attempts to do piecemeal bargaining, trying to bank these non-economic agreements early to strip them from the table.
Not so fast, my friend.
We don't allow that. We agree to those specific terms only on the condition that the final economic package is acceptable. Think of it like building a house. We might agree on the blueprint for the kitchen. We might sign off on the flooring, but we're not going to sign off on the mortgage papers until we verify the whole house is finished. You don't buy a house because the interior looks good, but the foundation isn't solid. We stack these TAs to build momentum, but we explicitly reserve the right to revisit the whole structure if the economic engine, our wages and benefits, isn't delivered at the end. Our strategy is simple. Nothing is settled until everything is settled. 3. Forensic costing versus fiscal scarcity. Third, and perhaps most critical, is the distinction between fiscal scarcity and budgetary allocation. Management will invariably claim that the budget is fixed. They present a narrative of scarcity. Our job is to counter that with a rigorous cost out. We don't accept their summary spreadsheets. We analyze the audit. We look at the discretionary spending, the consulting fees, and the reserves. We often find that the money for a fair wage increase exists, but it has simply been prioritized elsewhere. When they say we can't afford it, what they're actually saying is we won't prioritize it.
What?
And that is a very different conversation to have. We have to stop accepting management math. You know what I mean, where a 3% raise for us is impossible, yet a 15% cost overrun for a vendor contract is just the cost of doing business.
Shut up and take my money.
That's not math, that's ideology. So why am I telling you all this? Why make a video series pulling back the curtain on all these strategies? Because I believe the strongest union is an informed union. And honestly, we can do better. I've been looking at our contract history, and I see a lot of missed opportunities. I see times where we didn't anchor high enough. I see times where we accepted management math without checking the receipts. That is why I am officially announcing my run for union president. I'm running because I want to bring this level of strategy, preparation, and total transparency to our leadership. You know, I have a young son named Ezra, and watching him navigate the world has taught me something important about management math. If I tell him we have no budget for a cookie, he accepts it, but if he sees me buying coffee 5 minutes later, he immediately calls a grievance hearing right there in the back seat. He understands intuitively what we sometimes forget. Budgets are about choices. I'm done letting the city tell us we aren't the priority choice. And I want a leadership team that is prepared, strategic, and keeps you involved every step of the way. We are essential to this city, and it's time we started negotiating like it. I'm Dave Kastner, and I'm asking for your vote, not just to lead the union, but to raise the standard for how we fight for our future. Stay informed, stay united, and let's get to work.